In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. In principio creavit Deus caelum et terram. En archae epoise notheos ton uranon kai tingin. Bereshit bara Elohim at hashanim ve'at haaretz. Of the 4 versions in different languages of the first verse of Genesis, only the Hebrew can be considered authentic, because it is only when one counts the Hebrew letters that one can understand the original meaning of the author, whoever he, she, or it was. The 7 words produce the numbers 913, 203, 86, 401, 395, 407, 296, giving a grand total of 2,701. To the eye of the uninitiated, these 7 numbers seem to be entirely random and without any consequence. But when you know what's going on under the hood, you will realize that these are not only unique, but absolutely extraordinary in their consequences. If we multiply the 7 numbers together, they produce an enormous product. 304 quadrillion, 153 trillion, 525 billion, 784 million, 175,760. An 18-digit number. It's organized, as we say it, in 6 groups of 3. So let's add them together. And what could it possibly reach? 2,701. The exact same total as the sum of the original numbers. This is numerical engineering of a high order. If we add the digits of the product, they make 73. Now, if you watched the previous video, you'll know that the 2 prime factors of 2,701 are 73 and 37, which are decimal mirrors. They are reflections of each other. We can also reduce the values, the original word values. So 913 is 9 plus 1 plus 3 equals 13. 13, 1 plus 3 is 4, etc. And when we add the reduced values, they come to 37. So we now have the 2 factors of 2,701. If instead of making 6 groups of 3, we make 3 groups of 6, the end result is 1,005,697, which is 37 times 27,181. Now obviously we have the common factor 37, but mathematicians may recognize 2718 as a particularly important number. With the correctly placed decimal point, it is the Euler number, 2.7183. It's one of the most important constants in all of mathematics. It is of equal importance to pi. Unfortunately, it was only discovered in about 1680 or thereabouts, and it was only given its name in about 1730 by Mr. Euler. So it should not have been known to the author of Genesis. So skeptics will say it's just a coincidence. However, if you watch a follow-up video called The Constants of Creation, you will see that it is extremely unlikely to be a coincidence. It was almost certainly known, at least at the time of Jesus. Anyway, that's beside the point. Another way of adding the product is to put two groups of 9 digits, and this makes once again a multiple of 37. I have no idea if 29,414,305 is significant. It may be, but I don't think it is. One way of analysing the total is to take nothing out of the middle, in which case we end up with 271. This is a symmetrical number. It's a 10th hexagon, thereby combining 6 and 10, two numbers of primary significance. 6 being the creation number, 10 being one number signifying completion. However, it's also the Gematria value of harayon, a Hebrew word which means pregnancy. Now, pregnancy is relevant because it lasts for 271 days, thereabouts. And it is possibly relevant to Genesis of the world. There's a period of pregnancy and then delivery or creation of the universe. The practice of removing nothing from word values can be extended to the multiplication of the 7 words, and in this case we find a product of 406,881,823,760. This vast number can be simplified by adding groups of 3, this time 5 groups of 3, and we find that the total here is 3,034. Now, this leads on a bit of a Kabbalistic rabbit hole, but it's interesting nonetheless. It is, of course, a product of 37, this time 37 times 82. Now, 82 might not be significant had we not seen it before. Well, you didn't see it before, but you should have done, because in this table I reduced the digits of each number in 2 stages, and the 37 came from the second stage. However, if we just stay with the first stage, and the first word, 9 plus 1 plus 3, 13, if we keep it at that level, the total is 82. So 82 emerges twice, and it seems to be significant. Although, on its own, I can't find much to credit it with. However, if we factorize it, we see that the factors sum to 44, or 126 if we include the number itself. 44 provides the value of the name of God, Yahweh, when counted by the names of its letters. So Yod, He, Vo, He can be added as the words Yod, He, Vav, He. And in this case, the name reaches a total of 44. 126 is the 6 directions name of God, height, depth, east, west, north and south, as listed in chapter 1 of the Sefer Yetzirah, the book of formation or the book of creation. Now, this does post-date Genesis by a long way. It was only written in the 2nd century of the Common Era, but it possibly reflects an ongoing numerology. And in this case, the 6 directions are made from the first 3 letters of the name of God. And 6 times 21 is 126. So 82, with a bit of Kabbalistic jiggery-pokery, makes the name of God. Anyway, back to the big product, and we find that 3034 is also 333 more than the original total. 333 is 3 times 3 times 37. If, on the other hand, we were to take 333 away from 2701, we would get the value of the name Jesus Christos, which is interesting. Now, extending this to the addition of the word values with nothing taken out of the middle, we find a total of 1801, which is extremely important because it marks a hexagon sitting within the 73rd triangular number, 2701. This is the 25th hexagon, so each side is made from 25 units. It is the heart, the centre, the reduced centre, the centre made without the zeros of the first verse. And it is surrounded by 3 triangles in gold of 300, each being the 24th triangular number. Now, this figure of 1801 does not seem to be accidental, because it also comes from within the first 8 words of the Bible. If we include the first word of the second verse, ve haaretz, we find that that is valued at 302, and counting from words 4 to 8, the total is 1801. If we now add together all 8 word values, we find a new total of 3003. This is another extremely significant number. Firstly, it's the 77th triangular number, and if multiplied by 37, the building number, it produces 111 or 111, or 6 ones. And again, if this number is squared, it produces 6 in a different way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If we cube it, it makes 4 groups of 2 digits, 27, 81, 81, 27. And if we add those digits, they make 6 times 6. If we add the 4 groups of 2 digits, they make 6 times 6 times 6. So 3003 with 37 produce 6 in a multitude of ways, 6 being the number of days of creation. Now, while recognizing that 3003 multiplied by 37 makes 6 ones, it's also the case that the factors of 2701 sum to 111, or 3, times 37. Now, I'm no mathematician, but it seems to me that 3 and 37 are the keys to decimal numeration. We know that 3 times 37 is 111. And 3 times 3 times 3 times 37 is 999. If we add them together, we find 111, 0. And 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3. So it's a very neat little cycle. If we multiply 300303 by 37, we get 111, 111, 111. 9 ones. So it's 3 3s times 37 make 9 ones. If we square this, we find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If, however, we divide 1 by 3, we get 0.11111111 forever. If we divide 1 by 3 squared squared, or 81, we get 0.01234567 0.12345679, etc. forever. You will notice there is no 8. I believe it is something to do with the fact that we are behind a decimal point and with a 0 in the sequence. If there wasn't a 0, there would be an 8. 1 over 37 is 0.27, 0.27, 27, 27, and 1 over 27 is 0.037, 0.37, 0.37 forever. And 27 is 3 times 3 times 3. Again, 3 and 37 combining. Now, one way of visualizing this is to think of a cube of side 3 sitting inside a cube of side 4. If you take away the 27 units of the 3-sided cube, what's left is 37. So we have 3 times 3 times 3 and 37, making the 4-sided cube. This also can be thought of in terms of the tetractys, the famous sacred symbol of the Pythagoreans, which is effectively the 4th triangular number, which is 10, and it's made up of 9 units in a triangle and a hidden unit in the centre. The 9 represent the 9 digits, and the hidden, the 10th digit, is 1 plus O, or think of it as O, as 0. So it's a 3-sided figure, and it's a 4-fold figure combined. That's a key to decimal numeration. Another interesting fact is if you take the first 9 square roots, they sum to 19.306. And if you square this, you get 373, which can be read as 3773. A combination of 37 and 3, possibly, or the factors of 2701, 37 and 73. The 7 word values in this verse make an extraordinary number of multiples of 37. We see, for example, the last word is 8 times 37. The penultimate word is 11 times 37. A combination of the 3rd word and the 5th word is 13 times 37. The 5th word and the last word is 19 times 37. We have 21 times 37, 24 times 37, 27 times 37, and in fact there are 23 multiples of 37 produced by those 7 words. Now this is absolutely extraordinary. It cannot be a matter of chance. By chance, one would expect between 3 and 4 multiples of 37 coming from these numbers. We actually have 6 times more than that. So the building number 37 has been engineered into these numbers, clearly on purpose. There can be no accident involved. To close, we can just look ahead to the 2nd verse of Genesis, where we find, "And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters." And the Hebrew valuation of the 6 words involved comes to 1369. And that happens to be 37 squared. It's also the sum of 703 and 666. In other words, two main components of the 73rd triangular number, 2701. If we put these together in that triangle, we find they form a diamond coming down from the top, which seems visually relevant to the meaning of the words. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. The Spirit comes down from above like a diamond, and the two remaining triangles form an M shape, like the ripples of water. And the letter M has always been esoterically associated with water, right back from the time of Egyptian hieroglyphics, where a horizontal zigzag line was the symbol for water. It's a very neat conclusion. Once again, I would like to thank Vernon Jenkins for supplying much of the information that you've seen here today, and do follow up with his website if you're interested, and also like this video if you like it, and watch out for more coming up very soon.